I was just gathering my thoughts together because we've actually made up a bit of time. Isn't that lovely? And I'm sure you're all quite happy if you get an early note. But Councillor Grecian is on her way back, and she really would like to. She would really like to say a few words to finish off. So I'm hoping that there's going to be this lovely, seamless. I sort of do a quick summary of the day. She walks through the door, and you think, "Oh my goodness, how did they coordinate that?" Let's see if that works out or not, but I'm sure you'll be understanding if it doesn't. Another note, please do your survey. Glenn's sitting up the back there saying, please do your survey. We really want to capture your thoughts for this day and for your thinking. So you're allowed to start that now while I do a bit of a sum up of the day, okay? I won't be offended. Get your pens out. I'm just going to do a quick sum up of the day, and you can help me out. Call out favourite bits that I miss. Let me just gather my sheets together. Thank you so much to Auntie Lisa Giblin for starting our day today in such a beautiful way. And she came and joined us for some of the day today, which was lovely too. One of the themes for me was about telling of stories and how important it is. And gee, can we learn a lot from our First Nations people? It was just beautiful. And the smoke ceremony was absolutely gorgeous, and it might have been triggering. I know that now when I see smoke, my head turns and my heart races a bit, and I have to calm myself down. But it certainly wasn't. And actually, Ginny, who is not from Australia and hasn't perhaps had the privilege to see as many smoking ceremonies as us, said that she felt that the spirit of Lisa's ancestors was there coming through. She had that really strong sense of that. So huge thank you to Auntie Lisa for starting our day that way. Then, of course, there was the Mallacoota segment. Fantastic things that are going on in Mallacoota. And a couple of things that stand out for me from Carol, Christy, Paris and Trisha's wonderful words were everyone had an opportunity to speak and feel heard, and I don't think we can underestimate that. Trust was a big theme that came through. Trust in the community, trust across the community, trust of these leaders that are representing the community in a tough time, building trust with government and agencies, and how important that trust is. And of course, circling back to my first words in the day, Daniel Aldrich, his research talks a lot about relational trust and how important that is. Another quote that I think we need to recognise at the end of the day is, it's bloody hard work. Thanks, Christy. It is bloody hard work. And we really take our hats off for all the bloody hard work you've done. How do we support the people who need it the most? It's kind of the question, isn't it? And we absolutely don't do that without the voice of community being the loudest voice, because community knows. So listening more deeply and listening with empathy and doing things differently. The grant model doesn't work. Let's just not do that again. Reciprocity and innovation. Resilience equals living life fully. I really liked that in what Paris was talking about with that fabulous wilderness collective. And edge forward the multiple pieces of the puzzle at the same time, carefully edging forward. That was such a powerful image for me, thinking about the complexity of recovery and building resilience and building these projects that can sometimes take 8 years, carefully moving those puzzle pieces around, and sometimes they just don't fit, and then, you keep at it and they lock in together. John from Sarsfield, who's left, was talking about a community getting to know each other really for the first time as a result of a disaster, which is, it's that kind of that gem that comes out of adversity. But he's got someone who'll feed his chooks now, and I reckon you can't underestimate those little things that happen across community. And humour, gratitude and optimism. I love the positivity there, even though, there's challenges and there's more to come. Their rec reserve isn't built yet, and it's been a long haul. But to hear that positivity and gratitude, and of course humour, so important. Partnership has been a really shining thing through this whole day today. I've just loved hearing about the different partnerships that have been happening all the way through. So that's that real bonding, bridging, linking, coming back to that. Eleni gave us 4 tips, which I'm glad I wrote down because I want to remember. And I know that she would happily share her PowerPoint with us, so I'm going to make sure everybody here gets it. But being strategic, aligning with government priorities, but it's important. That's how the funding can come in, step by step. That's been there a lot today. From little things, big things grow. Just take a little bite of the pie at a time. Don't try and do it all at once, especially when you're feeling vulnerable and you're recovering from a significant trauma. You can never have too many stakeholders. I love the way that was stated. There's a bit about diversity in there, but it's also about getting them to be your champions, and I love that. And community-led, of course, it comes back to what we've all been talking about today, which is community-centred. And thanks, Ginny, for helping us recognise our signs of stress when we feel overstimulated, or at the moment, probably a little bit understimulated, but that's okay too. And how to regulate, but also, for me, standing in other people's shoes, and particularly people who find things more challenging that we take for granted. We can take for granted every day, and then we stand in other people's shoes and see how lucky we are. Back to that gratitude. So this is the bit where Councillor Gresham just walks through the glass doors and comes down in a flurry with some music. I don't think it's going to happen. Caroline has got something else she wants to say, so that might fill in the 3 minutes. 10 seconds? Please, come up.
Okay. I just wanted to thank you. I just wanted to thank Eva for taking on the position of MC today. And if you'll just excuse, I'm just going to do a bit of yoga here. Okay?
Oh, great. She's actually going to do some yoga. Are you ready?
There you go. That's for you.
Oh, thank you. It wasn't yoga at all.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yeah, and I was going to give you a nudge.
As would happen for a very well organised forum, to close out our day, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome Councillor Gresham, Jane, as she corrected me today and said, call me Jane. It's an absolute pleasure to have Jane come and say a few words on behalf of Council. Perfect timing.
Thank you, Jed, and thank you, everyone. I'm sorry I missed this afternoon. I just went to a funeral of a young man in Breuthen, which is awfully sad. But anyway, I got back here and you weren't expecting me to do this anyway, so I thought you'd do without it. Anyway, I'm Jane Greason, I'm the Deputy Mayor, and I want to thank you all for being here for this incredibly important discussion, and extend my thanks to every one of you for your presence, your commitment to your community's resilience, and you're just inspiring. So, and I want to acknowledge and thank our keynote speakers, and I'm sorry to miss this afternoon's, for sharing their invaluable insights and experiences with us today. So your contributions are instrumental in shaping our planning forward and will be made available online for anyone who wants to see them and who couldn't make it here. I assume that's happening. It's impossible to overlook the sobering reality that East Gippsland, like many regions around the world, is grappling with the escalating impact of natural disasters. So bushfires, storms and floods have become increasingly frequent and severe, leaving a devastating toll on our homes and businesses and the very fabric of our community. Climate change stands as an undeniable force now behind these escalating disasters, exacerbating their intensity and frequency. The recent storms that wreaked havoc on our region, coupled with the ongoing efforts recovering efforts from fires, floods and other challenges, serve as stark reminders of the urgent need for action and mitigation. On Tuesday, Council met with the CEO and senior staff from Telstra to discuss telecommunications outages that occurred after the February 13th storm. We've spoken with government ministers about our power grid, and in both cases we've noted the importance of not simply building and repairing, but building back much better and much stronger and preparing. So East Gippsland Shire Council's witnessed firsthand the mounting costs associated with natural disasters, both in terms of financial resources and, more importantly, the toll they exact on communities. Council's been deeply engaged in the task of rebuilding and preparing for future natural challenges, and we haven't done it alone. I wish to express my sincere appreciation to the volunteers and emergency workers amongst us today. Your tireless efforts during times of crisis embody the very essence of community spirit and resilience. And we saw you out in our towns and roads after the February 13 storm, and in Buchan recently. There's so much happening. Many of you have assisted greatly in the creation of the Council's emergency preparedness plans, community local incident management plans, farm, home and individual emergency plans. And you've worked with us as we roll out resources to halls, reserves and fire stations to protect communities at times of disaster, including generators and the Strengthening Telecommunications Against Natural Disasters program, STAND, which boosts internet connectivity resilience and helps local people in disaster-prone areas to stay connected to emergency and support services. So thank you, everyone. So today we come together not only to reflect on past experiences and present climate situation, but also to chart a course toward a more resilient future. This forum serves as a platform for sharing experiences, insights and initiatives that have yielded positive outcomes in the face of adversity. By fostering a culture of collaboration and knowledge sharing, we aim to empower our community to make informed decisions, enhance future investments and take ownership of their outcomes before, during and after disasters strike. As always, Council seeks to be a facilitator and collaborator in these endeavours, and our staff are here today to share ideas and learn from others. Council remains committed to supporting our community through every stage of the disaster cycle. We offer practical support, financial assistance, legal guidance, and crucially support for mental and emotional wellbeing. Our dedicated webpage and customer service officers serve as a vital resource for those in need. And furthermore, we recognise the importance of process improvements that you've all been talking about this morning. To ensure the swift and effective recovery of communities, we must rebuild, not just to restore what was lost, but to build back better and stronger than before. And in closing, let us unite as a community, learn from one another, and collectively find a way towards greater resilience and sustainability. Together we can rise strong and weather any storm that comes our way. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. I think that's a really lovely note to finish on. Big thank you to James, who's been doing all of this wonderful work in the background, to Sue Ellen Latham, who helped organise this, to Caroline and the Neighbourhood House team, who put a lot of thoughtful planning. Yeah, keep clapping while I'm talking, that's good. To Rachel and Glenn for their work with the evaluation, to you for coming and attending, to our fabulous guest speakers, and obviously to the funding that's made available through state and Commonwealth government through council for today's forum. I look forward to the next one. I hope there's a plan to have another one. There is, isn't there, Kath? Yes, fantastic. So let's gather more stories, let's gather more insights and come back next year and share some more. Thank you so much for your attendance today, and I hope you're staying to have dinner. Thanks, everybody.